Hmm. So in the last class we have discussed about trigonometry and their angles, how to convert it into radian, from degree to radian and radian to degree. Now we have to see about the graphs, right? What is sine, cos, tan, and all their graphs, right? So this will make this is not very important, but maybe in some school they may ask it is in very one marks. And also this is important for understanding purpose. Basically it is not important in exam point of view, but you should know about this in order to understand what we are going to learn further, right? So I'm going to show you graph of all 6 trigonometric functions. Okay, so now first of all let's make it like this. Okay, so this is 0, this is pi by 2. Okay, in all the graph I will show only angles only in radian, right, not in degrees. So if you're not understanding like this, better you convert it into degree, and then you will understand, right? So like pi by 2 and pi, 3 pi by 2 and 2 pi. Similarly minus pi by 2 minus pi minus 3 pi by 2 and minus 2 pi, something like this. Okay, so one thing you are getting in mind is how you will calculate the value of angle at 3 pi by 2, at pi and 2 pi, right? So for this basic explanation, first you just have a look on this and you just assume it like they are attaining that value at that particular angle, right? So you just assume it. Later on we will explain how it is going to be happen like this. Okay, so for this explanation, for the graphical explanation, you just assume that they are attaining that value at that particular angle, right? We will explain it on the later on, so why it is happening. So okay, so I'm going to write it like this. Okay, so this angle here we are showing that angles. So y is equals to sin x, for which I want you to show them, right? The graph of y equals to sin x. Now see, you know that in the functions chapter you may have learned about y is equals to sin x, means x is the angle that we are going to insert and y is something we are going to get, right? And if you don't know about what they are, so I'm just gonna tell you. So x is basically known as domain, all the possible values of x that you can put in sin x, right? So that is all the possible value of x for which sin x is defined. Sin x is defined is known as domain, right? And what is you are going to get, the values of y, possible values of y, is range, right? So that is what domain and range is. Now if you can insert any value of x, and of course x is an angle. Angle means they are going to be in degree or in radian. That is why the x is shown on x-axis and they all are angles, right? And for sin x it is happen that for any value of x, sin x is always defined, right? So the value of y, so the value of x is x could be anything, all real number, right? And sin x, and it is so happen that the value of y always lies between -1 to 1. So the range of sin x, later on we will understand that what is domain and range once more, but for now you just understood that the value of x could be anything. Domain means the domain of sin x could be anything, all real number, but the value of I will always lies between -1 to 1. That is why I am showing it like this, right? So it is going to be -1 and this is +1 and this is going to be -1. Okay, now we want to draw the graph for this. Okay, so at 0 you at least you know about this, right? What is the value of sine at 0, at angle 0? Sine 0 is 0, so that is why it is like this, right? And what is the value of sine at pi by 2? Sine pi by 2 is 1. You know that sine 90 is 1. So sine 90 is 1. Just make dot like this. And sine pi is again 0, right? Sine pi is 0. So if you don't know about this, so just you will know later on. So just assume it for now. So sine pi is this, and sine 3 pi by 2 is minus 1. It is minus 1. This is minus 1. And sine 2 pi is 0 again. You just connect them like this. This. And same thing for here. Sine minus pi by 2 is minus 1. So it is going to be here. Sine minus pi is 0. Sine minus 3 pi by 2 is plus 1. And sine minus 2 pi is 0 again. So just connect them like this. Okay, like this. So the graph is like this. So that is why the graph look like this, because of these values. Okay, so this is the graph of sine. So I'm gonna show you the graph of cos x as well. So just for understanding purpose, I'm just drawing it like this. Okay, so I want the value means the graph for cos x. So y is equals to cos x. So what is cos x? So means what is the possible values of x for cos x? So sin x and cos x is something like similar, right? So the value of x could be anything again. So that is why the domain of cos x. So what is domain in raise the word is specifically you must be knowing in functions, relation in functions of class 11th, right? So what is x? X is the all possible values for which cos x is defined, and that is also known as domain, right? So cos x, the domain of cos x is all real number. And what is y? Y is range. So means all the possible values that cos x can attain, that is known as that is y, and this is also known as range, right? So again the range is from -1 to 1, and x could be anything, means domain is all real number. So now here it is 0, this is 0, this is 0, so for this so this is +1 for cos x, and this is -1 somewhere here, -1. Okay, so this is -1. So what you can do is -1. Okay, yeah, so it is 0, and cos 0 is 1. You know that cos 0 is 1, so that is going to be over here. Now cos pi by 2 is 0, so it is going to be there. And now cos pi is -1, so it is going to be here. And cos 3 pi by 2 is 0 again, and cos 2 pi is 1 again, right? So the graph is like this, and this. Okay, and from that side, cos minus pi by 2, it is 0 again. Cos minus pi is -1, and cos minus 3 pi by 2 is going to be 0 again, and at cos 2 pi it is 1, right? So the graph is like this, and this, like this, something like this. Okay, so this is how you can draw the graph of cos x as well. So y equals to sin x and y equals to cos x. They will obtain 1 here, and please make sure this is -3 by 2, -2 pi, minus pi, this like this. Okay, so this is how. So we will use this later on in upcoming videos. So please make it carefully and be clear, right? Just one thing, you have to assume that if you don't know about what is the value of cos 3 pi by 2 or cos 2 pi, so just for now you take it like as it is, whatever given here. Okay, so this is the graph of y equals to sin x, this is the graph of y equals to cos x. We are going to learn more also. Okay, so you please make a note of it. Now I am just removing this so that I can draw further. so I'm gonna show you how you can draw the graph of tan x and cot x, right? Tan x and cot x. So first tan x, right? So tan 0 is 0 also, right? Tan 0 is 0. You might have known in your class 10 that tan x is not defined at 90, right? Oh, sorry. Yeah, tan x is not defined as at 10x. So 90. So at pi by 2, this value goes keep increasing, right? At 0 it is 0. At pi by 4 it is 1. At pi by 6, sorry, at pi by 6 it is 1 upon root 3, which is less than 1. Sin pi by 4, 1. Sin pi by 3 it is root 3, and so on. It is going to be increasing, keep increasing, right? So at sin pi by 2 it is infinity, so we cannot draw that particular value, right? So now so there is no bound relation now, right? At least for the sin x and cos x there is no bound relation. So you please remove this line. I will use it later on, so that is why I am not removing this. So please you just remove that, and you make this graph on separate, not try to make it on the same thing, right? So okay, so at 0 it is 0. At pi by 2 it is not defined, it is actually infinity. Tan pi by 2 is infinity, and we cannot attain that in infinity over here. So that is why I am going to write it like this, okay? So this is going to be somewhere parallel, right? So they, you know that parallel line meet in infinity, okay? So that is why I'm drawing it like this. So you should remember that. And similarly in the minus angle, they are just same as what is the value attained in positive angles, okay? So that is why they are also going to be same, but just in negative sign. Don't treat this line as +1, this line as +1, and this one is -1. Okay, so they are not +1 and -1. So the graph is like this, and now again this pattern is being followed, right? This. So here also the graph is like this, and similarly for here also, right? So graph will be like this, and it will go like this for further, and similarly for here also it will go like this, it will go like this, and similarly for here also, right? So this is how the graph is made. Now see once more, okay? So at pi it is 0, sin pi it is 0, and after pi the value is increasing in the same way as it is increasing from here, right? From after 0 basically. So this will go like this, and this will go like this. Means before pi it will be decreasing in the same way as it is decreasing when the angle is just less than 0, right? Or less than 0. So this is how the graph is made up. So graph is very important to understand some of the things which I am going to tell you later on. So that is why you should know about this. Now we will draw the graph for cos. So cot basically. So y is equals to cot x. So what is cot x? Cot x is cos x upon sin x. So you can think of this like this. So it is not defined at 0, right? So cot is not defined as 0. So here it is 0, right? But cot is basically 0, and means what is cot 0? Cot 0 is infinity, right? So that is why. So it is like something like this, right? But cot pi by 2 is 0. So that is why it is going to be like this. This is pi by 2, remember that, and this is going to be like this. So this is not meeting with this. It will be something like this. This will go parallel, and please don't take it as a -1 or this as a +1. Okay, these lines are not there, but I am gonna use it. That is why I am not revealing them. Okay, so please keep in mind. Now similarly for this also, right? Here what it is? It is 3 pi by 2. So 3 pi by 2, cot 3 pi by 2 is 0, right? You just assume that they are 3 pi by 2 is 0. The graph is like this, and similarly for here also the graph is like this. And similarly for here also. Okay, so they are going just parallel. From here it is the line where angle is 0. So at 0, cot 0 is not defined, it is infinity. That is why the graph is like this. Okay, so that is why it is so. So this is how you have to make the graphs. Okay, so this is the graph of cot x. And one more thing, in sine, in cot, in tan, or in all trigonometric functions, you will see something. See here, from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, and from pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2, the graph is exactly same. They are actually exactly same. So here maybe my drawing is not very well, but from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, if you see it, they are exactly same. And similarly, they are exactly same here. 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 So that period of means that particular thing is being repeated here, being repeated here. Okay. So this is this length. This length means whatever the length is, it is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. It is actually pi. Okay, so this is known as period of function. So tan x is a, okay, all trigonometric functions are periodic. Okay, so please keep this in mind, or make a note of it. All trigonometric functions are periodic, right? And the period of tan x is pi, and same thing for here also. Period of cot x is pi. Okay, period of tan x and cot x is pi, and they are not continuous. Why they are not continuous? Because there is a broken part, right? From this and this, there is a break, right? That is why they are not continuous. Not continuous at what point, right? But you just note it like this. We will discuss about it also, right? They are not continuous at where, right? They are not continuous at basically pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, or 3 pi by 2, right? 3 pi by 2, and just 5 pi by 2, like this. Okay, so I'm just showing this. At what point they are not continuous? Okay, so in order to understand continuity of a function is basically whether at a particular point the function is broken, means present or not. Okay, if for any value of x, if the function is present there, then it is known as continuous. But for here at 3 pi by 2, at x equals to 3 pi by 2, if function is not present there, so it is not present, infinity is not defined, right? Or not defined at that particular point, then we say that the function is discontinuous at that particular point. So for all the points like this, or I'm just writing it in this way, but you will know later on how I have written this like this. So you can write like this: n plus 1 divided by 2 pi. Okay, 2n plus 1 pi by 2, right? For any value of n, where n belongs to an integer. I stand for integers. Okay, so for any value of n could be minus 1, minus 2 with this. For any value of x, for any value of n, this is the value of x. This is the value of x. This is the value of x. For all such values, or for all such values of x, the y equals to tan x is not defined, or you can say that it is not continuous. Okay, so please remember that point. Okay, so okay, now next thing about this, the same thing is happening with this also. So cot x is also a periodic function, and its period is pi. What is period? Period is the angle after that, but means range of angle, you can say, range of angle after which it repeats itself, right? So after pi, from here to here, if you remember, so here minus from minus pi to 0. Minus pi to 0 means pi. After pi angle of period, it repeats itself. The graph becomes exactly same. That is why it is a periodic function, right? So here it is also periodic function with period as pi, and it is also not continuous everywhere. Okay, it is not continuous. So for here, what is the possible values of x for which it is not continuous? So it is not continuous at 0 and at pi. So basically it is not continuous at n pi, for any value of n, you can say. Okay, so and you can say that n belongs to an integer. So this is how you should know about this. Okay, and one more thing I forgot to tell you about, for sin x and cos x, right? Sin x and cos x, they are continuous everywhere. There is no point of discontinuity for sin x and cos x. So please make note of this. And they are also periodic. If you see that graph of sin x and cos x, you will see that after 2 pi interval of time, after 2 pi interval of the values of x, they repeat it's their self, right? So means after 2 pi they repeat their self. Okay, so that is why they are also periodic, and their period is 2 pi. Okay, please make a note of it. So okay, I'm just rubbing this whole thing. Okay, I will just so next is people and students are generally confused when they are drawing the graph of cosec x and sec x. Okay, so please pay attention to understand this, right? Y is equals to sec x, and what is sec x? It is reciprocal of cos x. So something you know about it, right? So the value of cos x is always between -1 to 1. Please remember that value of cos x is between -1 to 1, or you can say that less than 1, less than -1 and greater, sorry, less than 1 and greater than -1. Okay, you get it, everything, right? So so if I say that, what is the possible value of sec x? Okay, so sec x could be anything, all real number. It is for sec x, but this minus sign means excluding, means sec x can attain any value, r means any value except the values from -1 to 1, means it can attain any value, but the value of sec x as 0 is not possible, as something lying between -1 to 1, between, not from, means -1 and 1 they can attain the values of -1 and 1, but they cannot attain any value between -1 to 1, right? So this is your task. Ask yourself why it is so, why it is not possible that sec x cannot attain the values between -1 to 1. Please do it by yourself. Okay, so using this you can understand why the graph and how the graph will look like. So I'm making it for you. So here it is 0, and let's say this is 0, pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2, 1 2 pi. Okay, so the graph is like this, and here let's say it is plus 1. Here let's say it is -1. So this is -1, this is +1 on the scale of 5. Okay, so what you can think of at 0? I'm drawing the graph of sec x. Okay, so at 0, cos x is cos 0 is 1. Okay, so cos 0 is 1, so sec x is going to be 1 upon 1, 1. So the value of sec x is 1. It is touching here, right? So it can attain the value of 1. You can think of like this. And what is the value at pi by 2? At pi by 2 it is 0. So this is 1 upon 0. 1 upon 0 means infinity. So the graph is like this. So if I draw it like this, over here and over here. Okay, so the graph is like this. Okay, so because the value of